Hello and welcome, friends. This is Dr. Matthew once again on another edition of our weekly health update series. And today I want to discuss the dangers of conventional produce and pesticides. And the reason why they're so dangerous is because these pesticides, these fungicides, these herbicides, many times are not even studied in depth by the FDA before they're approved. And we see it all the time with pharmaceuticals, but very few people understand about how pesticides are the same exact way. And it's so interesting that when you see an attorney 3 weeks after the FDA had approved a drug, they yank it off the market, and then you see, like I said, a lawyer on television saying, have you taken this drug? You may be entitled to benefits. It's the same instances for many of these pesticides and other chemicals that go on the market so fast. And I like what Herbert Lay, the former FDA commissioner, said. He actually was quoted as saying that what the people think the FDA are doing and what they're actually doing are as different as night and day. That's an actual quote by a former FDA commissioner. So if you think they're looking out for your health on a regular basis, you need to think again. You need to take a step back and empower yourself. And when you do, I'm certain you're going to, what you're going to find in the research. But in this particular discussion, I want to tell you just a little bit about how organic, locally grown produce is much better and much superior than your conventional produce. One of the main reasons why, the obvious reason, of course, is because it doesn't have any pesticides. And like I said, these pesticides, believe it or not, one of the, to give you an example, in seminars that I do, live seminars, I carry a can of Raid with me. And what I'll do is I'll take an apple and I'll spray the Raid on this particular apple. And I'll say, here, I'll give it to a member of the audience, and I'll say, here, try this. People look at me like I'm absolutely nuts, like I've lost my mind. And I said, well, why won't you try this? Did you know that the average pesticide is 10 to 100 times more powerful than Raid? People just look stunned whenever I say that, but it's the absolute truth. So knowing and understanding this, you can easily see why these pesticides are known neurotoxins. They kill centers within the brain in many different areas, and they contribute to chronic disease and illness. So we need to get rid of that toxic load on our body, and this is going to help enable you to make a better food choice. Now, also, the most important thing that you want to consider is that organic, locally grown produce is far, far more nutrient dense. And we've heard it all the time. People say, you know something, this produce, this apple, this particular lettuce, this tastes watered down. Well, why is that? The main reason for that is simply because it has less nutrients. It's less nutrient dense than regular produce. Even if you travel to foreign countries, like I was in South America a few months ago, and you can easily tell the difference in the taste of the food. And this is because of the farming practices. They don't have to ship it from all over the world to their, everything is grown locally within 30 to 40 miles. It's absolutely incredible. It's different than what we're used to here in the United States. So again, you want to choose those when you can, because it's going to be far, far better for your body. And now the notion that you can somehow wash off the pesticides is really incorrect for the most part, because after the first harvest, what tends to happen is that pesticide will seep into the DNA of the seed, and that's a very, very large problem. So now, subsequently, the DNA has been altered, so you can't wash the pesticide free of harmful chemicals and things like that, because it's ingrained within the DNA of the cell. So that's a very, very important aspect that you want to be very aware of when you start to make a choice for a better produce option. Now, one of the better things that you're seeing in the average supermarket is you're seeing these people, these Krogers, these Publix, and many other grocers, they're starting to carry more organic selection because people have come to a higher level of awareness and they're demanding better products. And we've labored under the delusion for a long time that these organizations, these grocers, that, like I said, the FDA has been looking out for our best interest. When it comes down to it, it's about the money, it's about the cost. That's why even in food additives, food processing, you get a lot of these high fructose corn syrup sweeteners, just as an example, and that's just a cheap derivative of natural sugars, so they can mass produce it, increase their profits, and they don't have to worry the fact that it's contributing to the diabetes epidemic. That's not in their hands, so to speak. But like I said, we have to empower ourselves. And what I want to do is I want to draw your attention to my book, Cracking the Cancer Code. And the reason why I want to show you this is because what I've done, I have a nutritional health and lifestyle reference in this book, and I've painstakingly done a lot of research to try and find the best brands, the best products, the best produce, you name it, across the board. I don't care if it's meat, condiments, you name it. I've put it all in here because I wanted to find these particular for myself, I wanted to find the better organic producers, and then many times you can actually order directly from the manufacturers and save a lot of money. So it's very, very important. So this is going to save you a lot of money, and then you'll be able to go and take this with you at your store and see what products they have. And many times you will find them. If it's a local farmers market, if it's a Whole Foods market, you will find some better selections there. So keep that in mind, and remember those points that I discussed and why organic, locally grown is much better. Nutrient density is a main factor. The fact that they don't have pesticides on them is another factor. So just keep that in mind when you go to make your next selection in the supermarket. And I hope you got a lot of value out of this particular video discussion and video tutorial. If you have any questions, feel free to message me on MySpace. You should see the MySpace URL below. Again, and I'd love to be able to chat with you, and anything that I can do for you, let me know. So have a wonderful day, and we'll see you on the next one.